Good morning. Good morning, good morning, and good morning. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, universe. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I am organized a chaos. Ah, such a good day. It's Tuesday. Y'all, it's my last week off. I'm excited about my new adventure, but y'all, my whole summer is cut short. I had 2 more vacations inside of my system and I can't go no more. And I'm kind of sad, but I'm not. I'm thankful. Hey, learning. Good morning, beautiful. Welcome, and good morning. Have a good day at work. Good night. Good morning, Gordo. Thank you for being here. Gordo, thank you for always sharing my stuff. I really appreciate you. I can't wait till I can share stuff too. I'm going to be sharing all of the people all of the time. Thank you for being here, Gordo Poppy. All right, you guys. So, y'all know this is my last week of freedom. Well, I get a couple of days next week, but my orientation is early next week, and my early mornings will be dedicated to working out again. And then I have to leave the house. I've been working from home for 3 years, y'all. Well, like 2.5. The cousin started in what 1920, and then 20 is when they shut all of the schools down. And then I've been working from home for almost 3 years now. So it's gonna be weird going back into a school building with people. I gotta get adjusted to that. So in order to finish up this part of our summer of 2022 mindfulness journey, our 5-minute mindfulness, I was only doing one essay a day, but I'm going to do 2 in order to get us finished or to get me finished by the end of the time that I have left with you guys. So today we are going to do 2 of the essays, number 7, which is about relieving stress, and number 8, which is about a path well chosen. And even though this is a book about mindfulness walking, a lot of the things that are in here just literally apply to life in general, is what me personally I have been discovering through this writing. So, with that said, I'm going to get us started. 5-minute mindfulness walking. This is essay 7, relieving stress. We walk in the rain, the snow, the mud, and with mosquitoes. Sometimes we walk in May with blossoms and butterflies. Sometimes with music blasting from a passing car. They're all ideal conditions for a mindful walk. Let me tell y'all something. When it's cold outside, I do not mindful do anything. When I have to be out in the elements, I quickly dart in the car, out the car, in the building, back into the car. I don't like the cold of anything. When I have the opportunity, maybe in retirement, my goal is to leave this great state of Michigan and go south because I don't like it at all. Don't let anyone tell you the weather is dreadful. I just did. In mindful walking, it's simply weather. Good weather is dualistic thinking. Good, bad, right, wrong, success, failure. These ideas are too rigid, simplistic, and judgmental for mindful walking. Okay, I'm gonna work on it then, y'all. I'm gonna work on my judgmentalness about the weather because I am. We're cultivating non judgment and acceptance in all conditions in what's called unconditional well being. We don't endure rain or loud noises, we experience them. Child, tell that to people on the airplane when the babies be crying. Girl, mm-mm. This frees us from the trap of basing our happiness on conditions being just right, which means giving control of our well being to things outside us. In mindful walking, well being is in the mind state we cultivate that knows, even as I feel rain, I am content. Unconditional well being is the most reliable, unchanging kind of happiness. It's liberating, empowering, and the ultimate antidote to mind made stress. Understanding stress. Mindful walking is a simple way to manage stress. That is, Unless we make mindful walking stressful, as sometimes we can. Why on earth would we do that? Because of confusion about what creates stress. A primary misconception is that it's caused by someone or something in the world around us, like the weather, traffic, or what so and so said about us. Take a deep breath before reading the next sentence. I regret to inform you that you are the sole creator of the stress you experience. This sounds discouraging at first, but it's one of the liberating insights of mindfulness that stress happens when we try to control or change things we can't, including how a mindful walk will be. Mindful walking helps us to understand how stress is created. That is, in our reactions to things, so we can create less of it. These are the potential sources of stress. Here is a semi serious list of experiences ripe with potential stress. Birth. Being born is the leading cause of stress. Wanting. Stress lies in the difference between how things are and how you want them to be. Stress is also wanting things to turn out well. Knowing. Stress is trying to know what you cannot know and wishing you didn't know what you do know. Stress is not having enough information and it is having too much information. Time. Ingredients to create stress. Thoughts about the past and future. Aging is stressful. Resisting aging is more stressful. Choice. Stress is having no choice. Stress is also having too many choices. Thoughts. Stress is trying to control what others think about you and trying to control what or how much you think about others. We see that a lot on YouTube. Stress is realizing that most people aren't thinking about you. Stress is trying to control thinking. Mindful walking is not stressful unless you think it is. And I'll say that about mindful living, about mindful anything you do in your life, your parenting, mindful parenting does not have to be stressful if you realize that those little people you created are human beings just like you, very imperfect, but they are their own individual beings and they deserve to be. Give them grace and space to be. Child, I had to teach myself that with my children. I'd be like, why can't you just do what I want you to do? Because, girl. Woo, but they almost grown up. Amen, amen, amen. We made it through that childhood wilderness, girl. Stress and freedom. Stress is a common human experience. We're bound in a web of responsibilities, demands, and constraints that we can neither fully control nor escape. Our own thoughts and emotions are often difficult. It's easy to struggle against this reality. Mindful walking is a peaceful path through the tangle of life's demands and challenges. Walking mindfully creates an inner refuge of freedom, a sense of well being unaffected by our circumstances, what our thoughts are, or how we feel. Okay, I feel like I need to have a little bit of story time right here. Yesterday, I rode my bike, and my goal, I think I told y'all, if you have been tuned in, my goal has been to get to 50 miles before I go back to work. And my summer got cut short. So really I need to get it in this week, right? So yesterday I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to get in 50 miles. And usually when I'm on my bike, I have a really peaceful, mindful focus. I'm looking at the top of the trees, at the sky. I'm just being really intentional. Nothing bothers me. Yesterday was the first time the universe collided into myself. The first collision was I had to make it around a curb that I usually will take the sidewalk on, but I had missed the sidewalk because the wind was helping me accelerate. Like I was just in a zone, music in my ears, just going. Child, I had to go around this curve and I fell. Part of me was like, girl, go home. You is too old to be falling on this bike. Girl, you about to break something. Don't nobody got time. You got a job to start. You got things going on. And then I had to get myself together. I had to de-stress immediately. I got right back up on that bike and I was like, what you gonna do is be intentional and mindful and focused and keep going. Then it happened again. I was like, what is going on, world? I was riding, riding, riding. There's a part of the path that I take that's literally just a sidewalk. But it's a really cool part of the sidewalk in a so I ride through like a few different cities because of how many miles I'm able to get in. So this particular city, the sidewalk is nice and neat and clean, like it's clear, except the man was walking his dog. And usually when people are walking, and I'm learning when people are driving, they are not mindful about pedestrians and people that ride bikes. Riding my bike has made me very mindful about when I'm driving, about being mindful about pedestrians and people on bikes, because I learned on my bike, people who are in cars don't give a damn about stopping at a stop sign. They literally stop in the middle of crosswalks. People who are walking down the street literally will take up the entire sidewalk because that's just human. Like we just don't care or pay attention. So this man was walking his dog. Usually when people are walking in front of me, I will get on the grass and go around them. The dog must have heard me coming up. As I'm trying to take a deep and move around a dog and a man, the dog's leash extends and the dog darts out in front of me on the grass. Child, I had just almost injured my leg. I had just almost re-injured it trying to get around this dog. And I'm like, am I supposed to stop and go home? Like, what is going on? And why is today the day where all of the things are happening to me? And I had to just get back into the purpose. I'm out here. I'm trying to get these miles. I'm focused. Don't let the world, because it's going to happen, right? The world is going to always throw you a curveball to stop you from your journey, to make you feel like you can't continue to go forward. Don't let the world defeat you. That was the message in the moment. As every time I had to get back, my leg was hurting a little bit, and my child, I almost scraped up my little shoulder, but I was focused and I was like, I don't know what the message is. I don't know what I'm supposed to learn, but I'm going to keep going. I'm not turning around. I'm not going back home. I'm on a mission. I'm mindful about what I'm trying to accomplish. And so I say all of that to say, stay within your goals, y'all. The world will try to knock you down every chance it gets. The universe will test you. The universe is going to always test you in this journey of life. Stay focused. You know what's in you. You know what the creator put inside of you. Only you know that. You know what your goals are. You will have obstacles placed in front of you. Those obstacles are there to grow you, to manifest what has been placed inside of you. And just to see, are you sure? Are you sure that's what you want to do? Because it's just easier to turn around and go back home. It's just easier to give up and be defeated. Don't let the world defeat you. Good morning, we on lot. Good morning, sunshine. Thank you for being here. Hey. All right, back into the book. As we walk Create a sense of freedom in how we carry ourselves. It's been said that certain doomed men and women have walked to their execution with their heads held high and proud, a confidence in their stride, claiming their freedom despite their dire circumstances. Those approaching death by illness or old age can display a similar inner serenity. From a certain view, those who die in a mind state of freedom die free. But we don't wait until death approaches to claim inner well being. We do it in each walk, walking with freedom. As you walk, and we know walking, I always try to interject. Walking for me in this book is symbolic to every aspect or area of your life. You can replace walking with my bike ride. You can replace walking with your work. You can replace walking with your entrepreneurial, girl, get it right, your entrepreneurial journey. Replace walking with your marriage. Replace walking with your relationship. Replace walking with being a YouTube content creator. As you walk, bring attention to the way you're holding yourself. The posture of freedom is the beginning of a mind of freedom. Be aware of the places that feel tight or fearful and invite the tension to uncoil. Allow an openness, dignity, and ease into your movements and into your breathing. Let the opening in your body catalyze an opening in the mind to realize freedom and dignity now in this moment. Don't wait your until you perfect your practice of mindful walking to experience it. Feel it now, imperfect as your body, mood, life, circumstances, retirement portfolio, or walk might currently be. Bring a slight smile to your lips and notice if you can connect with a few square inches of inner freedom. Creative hopelessness. If we are walking with mindfulness, we are open to things as they are. We are not hoping for a good walk or a peaceful state of mind. I had to chuckle right there because, child, that was my bike ride yesterday. I really was like, I'm going to have a good bike ride. And actually, it was a good bike ride. I got 43 miles in yesterday. That's the most miles I've rode ever in my life. Hoping to be peaceful, in fact, can be an enormous hindrance to mindfulness and peace. It causes frustration as we attempt to force mindfulness to happen. In mindful walking, we let go of hope. No hope can sound dreadful, but not when we understand that sometimes hoping is trying to control things that we can't. And it often creates stress and anxiety. When hoping for good weather or vacation, or hoping guests will enjoy our dinner party, we expend energy clinging to a future experience we want. That drains us, creates tension in the body, and sets up disappointment if things don't go our way. It robs us of the present moment. Mindful walking teaches that happiness isn't in getting what we want, but in the joy of relaxing into things as they are. I do have a slight example of that. The last interview that I went on, which is the interview where I just got my new job, I have I've been on this job journey for a few years now, trying to get out of the classroom, trying. I know I'm qualified. I get interviews. I get second interviews. I just haven't secured the bag or the new job, right? And so it gets frustrating to be told no. It gets frustrating to not get the job. I never give up on myself though, right? I do beat myself up. I do get mad. I do try to learn in the moment, but I'm always hoping this is going to be it. This is going to be it. I can honestly say, I think the work that I've been doing this summer, being mindful on YouTube, created a space for me to enter this last interview and to just be. I was just being. If I got it, cool. If I didn't, I was going to be okay. I have a job. I had a good job. I knew I was ready for more, but I knew that if I didn't have the expectation, whatever was going to be, right? So much so that when I started the interview process for this job and they gave me the task that I needed to do for the first interview, it was two interviews. The first interview, I was clueless. I had never done the things that they asked me to do, y'all. Never. I had to teach myself in the moment, in a few days, how to get this job done that they wanted me to do. I had never done this job before. Like, how am I supposed to do something I ain't never done? I just was being. I taught myself. I created the documents they asked me to create and submitted them. And whatever happened, I was okay in that moment with not hoping I got the job. I was just wanting to be the best version of myself and produce the best work I could produce for what they asked me to produce. I think the hoping, I always want to do a good job, but the hoping part and the disappointment part, I have finally, after years, learned how to manage that expectation within myself. And it was powerful. All right, back into the book. Mindfully walking, we're in a state of what psychotherapists call creative hopelessness, which allows the spontaneous creation of new insights and perspectives as we let go of hoping or trying to control. That's what it is. When you hope, and it's not that you shouldn't hope for best, right? But it's the controlling part. It's a flexible mind state in which we're open to being surprised. Child, because listen, when they called me that night after that first interview and told me I made it to the second round, I screamed. I screamed in that lady's ear. I was like, girl, I'm sorry. I just, I hope I listen. Girl, I was surprised. It's an inherent capacity that emerges when we're willing to relinquish habitual beliefs. Its motto might be, oh, I never thought of it like that before. Walking with hopelessness. Before you start a walk, and remember, replace walk with anything, affirm that you aren't seeking any special outcome. Instead, set an intention to practice opening to things as they are. Open yourself to things as they are in each moment. As you walk, be attentive to any aspect of movement you haven't noticed before, perhaps such as the complex connections between the parts of the body involved in walking. Let your attention drift to explore the spaces around you and allow yourself to be surprised or notice something new. Notice that this way of goal free walking feels like mentally and emotionally. Good morning, Andrea. Good morning, sunshine. How are you? Thank you for being here. Walking in stormy weather, we're aware that sleet and wind are not our preference. I already told y'all. I already told y'all at the beginning. I gotta work on this weather issue because that's not my ministry. But I live in the cold, more than I listen. It's colder here than it is hotter here. We have more cold than we have hot. So by now, at my big age, I should be accustomed to it. But nope, nope. But in creative hopelessness, we're open to experiencing this weather in a new way. We discover poetry in the sound of sleet hitting our jacket. We're surprised as a harmonic riff emerges. We notice hypnotic beauty in the path slowly turning the color of gray steel. Use your mind like the sculptor Andy Goldsworthy, who creates stunning temporary artworks in natural settings out of the rocks, twigs, ice, and petals he finds. When not hoping for anything, the mind is playing and creating. And there can be a thread of happiness, runny nose, cold toes and all, from trash to treasure. Walking along a roadside busy with cars, there's a randomly curated public exhibition. A gaze in the weeds and grass reveals cultural artifacts, beer cans, lottery tickets, cigarette butts, energy drink cans, candy bar wrappers, not a Greenpeace pamphlet to be found, nor a long term investment brochure. We could get mad about the mess or, like an anthropologist, wonder what is to be understood. Does this collection show us that quick and cheap relief? Here, the temptation to quickly consume and toss remnants out of a window has a seductive power over all of us. Child, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all. Let me mark my well, not where I stopped at. It bothers me when people throw trash out of the window. I'm so judgmental about people who throw trash out of their car window, and I should not be. I'm working on it. But why? Like, plastic bags are in abundance, especially black people. Well, I'm not going to talk about all black people, child. I do. I keep plastic bags everywhere. Like, just put one in your car, girl. Put it in and just put your trash in there and throw it out when you get out the car. Why y'all gotta be, the environment is already a mess. Stop throwing your trash out the window. Okay, stop. Mhm. Or are these signs of alienation, disdain for the common good, laziness, or a rebellion? I will say it's all of the above. Walking mindfully, we wonder, cultivating compassion for the hand that tosses, perhaps so overburdened that responsibility for one bit of trash seems too much to bear. In mindful walking, many questions and insights can emerge. Consider sidewalks and walking paths. What does their presence or lack thereof tell us? Whether walking is valued or thought unfeasible, where walking paths sprout, walkers come out of the woodwork or their cars. Learning says, I hate that too, especially bottles left in the park. Child, listen, as a bike rider, the glass on the street and the sidewalks, it is irritating because if I hit it, a flat tire is imminent, right? Like, why are we like that as human beings? Why do we not care about the environment and the earth and other people? We are so careless and mindless. Mindless. Y'all, I pray if I can do nothing else on my little channel, I can help one person just be a little bit more mindful about how you live. We're not perfect. Nobody's going to be perfect. I'm going to probably leave here and do something not eco-friendly or environmentally friendly today, but just be mindful about it. Do one thing to be better, to do better, to be a little bit more mindful about the space that we all reside in. Your action has an effect on others, whether you see it, know it, or not. If a tree falls in the forest, it absolutely makes a noise. And just because you didn't hear it, the noise still noised. Many cities are now honoring walking anew. Pedestrian zones fill Times Square, and to the High Line, a walking path on old rail tracks over New York, visitors flock. What does this reveal? Perhaps a thirst for the rarest treasure and one that's not for sale, a walk. Just like bike paths. I live in Detroit. Bike paths are new on our streets and they aren't respected because cars use them for parking. Cars use them to pass other cars. But it's new. At least the city officials are trying to be mindful about people wanting to ride their bikes in our cities. So that's a good thing. Now it just needs to translate into drivers being mindful that bike lanes are for bikers, right? Walking the questions. What does it say about a culture like Switzerland's that they maintain signs for walking paths in every hamlet and town, including their largest city, Zurich? What do ubiquitous no trespassing signs around private land in the US reveal? What about the countless walking paths in the Czech Republic, where the foot traveler pitches a tent freely overnight? And by contrast, what can I understand from my encounter with an agitated American who scolded me and my wife for parking our car on a public road so that we could walk in the beautiful countryside? He assumed our car meant something criminal was afoot, but it was only walking afoot. Mindfully, we walk the questions. All right, that is the end of essay 7, Relieving Stress. And we are going to move into our final essay for today, essay 8, A Path Well Chosen. Thank you guys if you are still with me. If you are just now tuning in, we are starting our final essay for the day. I appreciate you all for being here, and I hope you get something from this. I do. I like literally this mindful summer of 2022 for me has helped me tremendously. And I pray that it has helped you as well. I know my channel is a little bit all over the place. That's how my brain works, though. Essay 8, A Path Well Chosen. Mindful walking is a path of paradoxes. We walk with purpose, but not to get anywhere. We cultivate freedom, though are bound by circumstances. We make an effort to be mindful, yet already possess mindfulness. In surrendering to what unfolds, we emerge the winner. We fully accept ourselves and notice ways we can grow and develop. In mindful walking, we are traversing what Zen Buddhists call the razor's edge, the slim territory of paradox where opposing truths come together. It's been said that a paradox is the highest achievement of human thought, where opposing ideas can both be true and together reveal a greater truth. With each mindful step, we walk this tightrope of paradoxes, but there's nothing to fear in falling off. We simply step back on and resume walking. Child, that was me on that bike yesterday, falling off and like, girl, what is happening? Y'all, I had to laugh at myself. And when I first fell off, I felt like it was a car that was about to pull over to see if I was okay. And I didn't even stay there long. I dusted myself up, got right back on that bike, and kept going. I know that car was like, I hope she's okay, child. If I was bleeding, I didn't know. I don't know. Listen, I made it home. I finished my bike ride and I made it home. But your girl fell off. It's a mess. I'm a mess. And I laughed at myself. And I was talking to the universe like, why are you making me fall today? What do you want me to learn through falling off of my bike? One paradox of our practice is that each time we walk, we choose to be choiceless. This reveals a new and liberating perspective on choices, a practice and a path. We may walk the same well worn route many times, but mindfulness prevents thoughts from leading us down a path of unhelpful thinking again and again. If we allow our thoughts to go unobserved, they may lead us into a tangle of worries and woe. Just as a path well trodden wears a rut in the land, habitual thoughts wear a rut in the mind. Neuroscientists have a saying about this: what fires together wires together. It means that when two ideas frequently link, a well established pathway known as a synapses forms in the brain. If a thought about my life is frequently followed by not measuring up, a synapsis is established, and that gives the ring of truth to this self view, as the former inevitability connects to the latter. If instead So grateful to be alive is linked with my life, a very different connection grows. This is a key idea of neuroplasticity, the study of how we literally both shape the mind with mental habits and have a choice about the shape it will take. About 2,500 years before the birth of modern neuroscience, the Buddha expressed this in a frequently cited teaching. Whatever the mind frequently dwells upon becomes the inclination of the mind. As we understand the power thoughts and mental reactions wield over our lives, we grasp the role mindfulness can have in shaping our destiny. We come to see the possibility of mindfulness as a life path, a methodology we can draw on in any life situation. We use mindfulness when walking and otherwise to observe repetitive thoughts and how they underpin habitual views. We investigate whether mindfulness supports us to feel, behave, or think differently. Then we must choose to be mindful or to passively allow unhelpful thoughts to shape us. Mindfully walking our practice is a chosen path, not just the one with the deepest rut. Choiceless awareness. Walking into a neighborhood that we find ugly, we may close a door inside of ourselves, rejecting what we encounter. In mindful walking, we stay open and instead, and then we just notice this pleases me and this less so. We notice that displeasure, we notice what displeasure feels like, what ugliness feels like, what beauty feels like. This is the path of being fully alive. We don't resist or judge anything or block anything from our awareness. Our practice is to engage with the full spectrum of experience. We are free to roam anywhere. The five-star hotel, sacred temple, cemetery, and dive bar. In each, we are equally at ease. There's nothing to resist. I'm not going to lie, y'all. I just took a trip and I had to fly. So when we booked the trip, that's when the gas prices was through the roof and the airlines was tripping. I ain't gonna, they was tripping on these ticket prices. So I had to book. I usually fly Delta because I'm a little bougetto. I had to book a flight on Frontier. Now listen, if you love Frontier or Spirit Airlines, I'm not trying to bash you. Get there how you gotta get there. But baby, Frontier, I've done Spirit before, and I didn't have the experience that I had on Frontier. Frontier, I was not mindful on my Frontier experience, and I'm not gonna lie and say I was trying to be. I hated it. I hated every aspect of it. I learned about not I won't ever. I can't I hate to use the word never. It is my intention to avoid Frontier in the future. That's how I'm gonna package that. It is my intention to avoid Frontier Airlines. From the lowering of the 50-pound baggage to the $45 check baggage fee to the carry-on baggage fee to the seats don't lay baggage of it all. I was so irritated all the way for the full 3.5 hours I was on that airplane until I got off and I finally got my mind right the next day. So I'm going to work on this and I'm going to reread these last couple of sentences. Our practice is to engage with the full spectrum of experience. So I engaged. I just didn't like it. We are free to roam anywhere. The five-star hotel, sacred temple, cemetery, dive bar, and Frontier Airlines. In each, we are equally at ease. I was not. I'm going to do better. Well, I'm going to work on doing better. Because that experience, I was not in my mindfulness bag for that experience, girl. There's nothing to resist. The way we treat, excuse me, the way we treat a mindful walk should mirror the way we treat ourselves. Our purpose is to know the whole self, not to deny anything that's real. Buddhist writer Pema Chodron is the sage of this perspective, encouraging us to explore the places that scare you. Frontier Airlines. We notice with compassion whether we see in our behavior, character, and thoughts. This doesn't mean we don't govern our behavior or hold ourselves accountable. We do, but we see without censoring, looking honestly and courageously at ourselves. We see our strengths and weaknesses without choosing. This is known as choiceless awareness, noticing internal states. Child, listen, don't do Spirit, don't do Frontier. It's another one. I think JetBlue, Andrea. I think, girl, I don't know. United, I flew there on Frontier, but I flew back on United. No problem. $35 check bag fee, 50 pounds. And you know, I went shopping while I was out of town, girl. I was able to package all that stuff. My carry on got carried on without an additional fee. By the time you pay all of the extra fees, by the time I paid all the extra fees with Frontier, child, I had paid for a Delta ticket. I should have just bought a Delta ticket. I had literally the price for the tickets was already sky high because of the cousin and the gas prices. I should have just paid the extra and just bought out because it was ridiculous. I was like, y'all want to be a la carte, but this ain't the, you know what I'm saying? Y'all is not the prime stake of airlines. You shouldn't be a la carte, nothing. And then to charge as much as they charge, it was $45 for my check bag, which was only allowed 40 pounds. Then, girl, listen, it was $50 for my carry-on bag. 95 extra dollars on Frontier and my seat wouldn't even recline. Girl, listen. Then they wouldn't even let you pick a seat unless you paid to pick the seat. What? I gotta, girl, I was so, listen, I was so. Okay, so I gotta work on that, y'all. My bougetto was real bougie that day. The ghetto part, the ghetto part was not in effect. The bougie part was wide awoke. All right. Noticing internal states. In this practice, walk slowly and closely observe your changing thoughts and feelings to gain a clearer understanding of the fleeting, variable nature of internal states. Here is an example of what one might notice and reflect on. In this moment, I noticed a jealous thought. In this moment, I notice fear. In this moment, I feel generous and kind. Now, I notice irritation and impatience. Now, I notice I'm skillful. Now, I notice I'm unskillful. Which am I, kind, unkind, skillful, unskillful? Am I a good person or a bad person? I am none of these. I am the mindful, compassionate presence, knowing each changing state, freeing ourselves from thoughts. Many a mindful walker has lamented walks being ruined by persistent, distracting thoughts, which descended like a plague of locusts. Usually, the walker having pulled over to page through their mental handbook, tried every mindfulness technique they knew with increasing intensity, attempting to defeat the thoughts. Y'all, I just figured out why I fell off the bike yesterday. Look at the universe. Okay, I'm going to tell y'all why. I'm going to wait though. I got to write it down real quick before I forget. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow. Okay. Let me start over. Oh my goodness. I didn't know why I fell off. I just realized why I fell. Look at this. Look at the revelation of the mindfulness coming through on today day. Hey, boo. Hey, Foxy. Hey, good morning, sunshine. Are you on your way to work, girl? Or are you there? Good morning, sunshine. Girl, did you? I don't know if you was tuned in. I told them about Frontier. Okay. Freeing ourselves from thoughts. Okay, wait, I gotta put this little sticky I just wrote on at the end because I will, y'all. Listen, I be thinking the way my channel is set up and the way my brain is set up, I will forget I told y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all while I fell off the bike, but I'll tell y'all at the end. Freeing ourselves from thoughts. Many a mindful walker has lamented walks being ruined by persistent, distracting thoughts, which descended like a plague of locusts. That's literally what just happened to me just now. Usually, the walker, having pulled over to page through their mental handbook, tried every mindfulness technique they knew with increasing intensity, attempting to defeat the thoughts. This is a fool's errand because the mind produces thoughts like the tabloids produce drama, like the YouTube streets produce drama. There is no stopping them. Girl, our goal is to free ourselves from struggling with them. Uh, girl. In mindful walking, we can view thoughts like birds flying through the sky. As we walk, we make a choice to let them be. We affirm that we are the bird watcher, not the bird. As we choose not to engage with the thoughts, we notice if this brings a sense of freedom. Thoughts are not our problem to solve or even understand. As you walk, bring mindfulness to your body and notice sensations. Feel free, feel feet touching, muscles engaging, mindful of the body. Keep an eye out for a thought bird flying through the mind. Once you notice a thought bird, bring attention back to the body. Affirm that you are the mindful observer of each sensation and each thought. You guys, if you've ever been outside looking up, have you ever looked at the top of the trees and just tried to look into the homes of the birds that live there or that fly through there or rest there? It's beautiful. Have you ever really paid attention to the clouds and how they actually slowly are moving through the atmosphere? Nobody's telling them what to do. They just do. They just be. They just are. Have you ever seen the sun hide or the cloud cover the sun or the moon and just notice? Have you ever just watched the sun rise or set and just notice the beauty that you have no control over, but you're allowed to just inhale it and exhale it and just be in that moment? Notice sensations in your knees, then a thought in the mind, but stay in your position as the observer. Don't get drawn into what the thought is about. We have no choice about what thoughts appear, but we can choose just to notice and not engage with them. It's like the difference between witnessing an argument and getting drawn into participating in it. We stay the witness. we stay the witness. We lack that on YouTube. For some reason, I don't know if it's what happened with us all being locked in for the last almost 3 years. We lack the ability to mindfully curate information that is shown on our YouTube spaces and places that we visit. And we have decided to pull ourselves into those spaces and places instead of just observing, just witnessing, just being mindful. As you walk and practice, allowing thoughts to float by, notice how the practice makes you feel. Holding steady. Mindfully walking, we can cultivate steadiness both on the walking path and the life path. The seed of steadiness blossoms into non reactivity amid the inevitable flow of opposites all humans experience: praise and blame, gain and loss, sickness and health, pain and pleasure. This is the messy process of cultivating wisdom, the capacity to recognize what we can and can't control and to act accordingly. Our practice frees us from the bind of reacting to what provokes us. We are not swayed by each inch, each itch, urge, or frustration. We might waver and weave, but we hold to the path. The call of the marshmallow. Since the 1960s, cognitive researchers have used marshmallows to assess young children's abilities to resist immediate gratification in favor of long term reward. In Walter Mischel's classic experiment, each child is offered either one sweet now or two later if they can resist eating the first for a little while. This reminds me of some of the, I think it's TikTok. I don't really look at TikTok, but when they show you like on Instagram or other spaces, the kids where the parents will turn the cameras on and put candy in front of them and tell them to wait to eat it. This reminds me of that. The child is then left alone with a single marshmallow. A camera records the children as they struggle and squirm. A miniature opera unfolds. Will the child stay steady when pulled by desire? Follow ups to these studies have found that a child's capacity to postpone pleasure and tolerate distress is linked to success later in life. We strengthen the same muscle in each walk. Mindful walking is a journey into ourselves through the muddy landscape of our moods, wounds, fears, and agitations. Demons arise to harass us, and our practice holds the fortitude to face them. We know not to battle them, we simply bear witness. There is an alchemy that happens when we can look our demons in the eye. Their dark, heavy power to hinder or destroy us is transformed as we simply meet their gaze. To our surprise, as we hold steady enough, our demons can bestow blessings. They catalyze our resistance. Lead is turned into gold. That is the end of Essay 8, A Path Well Chosen. All right, so I fell off my bike yesterday and I couldn't figure out why until today, just now. As I leave my current position, I'm leaving my current district and I'm going to a new district. for my promotion, right? While I've been in my current district, my children have matriculated through the district and they were allowed to attend schools in the district because I work there. This is my son's senior year of high school. He's been in the district since the fifth grade. Since I'm leaving the district, technically, he should be forced to leave. But there is a loophole where students can stay, especially if they are seniors and they've spent the majority of their K-12 experience in a district, right? And so yesterday, before I started my bike ride, I was emailing my district, trying to make sure my son was going to be okay and be able to stay at his school and finish his senior year, right? All day, back and forth emails with the people in central office. You know I'm leaving. My son is here. What's up? What y'all gonna do? Like, come on, stop with the foolishness. I got a response. I started this last week on Wednesday, and the lady that I was told to email just didn't respond. So, of course, on Sunday night, I emailed the superintendent because what you're not going to do is ignore me. That's what you're not going to do. Emailed the superintendent. The superintendent didn't respond early yesterday morning, but the lady that I emailed last week did. So that lets me know the superintendent was like, girl, why she emailing me? Why she ain't emailing you? And so she finally checked her emails and was like, oh, I'm so sorry, girl. Girl, you got that email last week. She responded and told me that the district that my son should be in doesn't typically release students to other districts because there's money attached to children, right? Like literally. Children, what I'm learning in the K-12 um educational field is my third career in life, y'all. So yes, I'm getting a promotion. I'm a little late to this whole teaching experience. I've only been teaching for 15 years. So there are dollar signs attached to children. It just is what it is because the K-12 system is still a system in our society. So each child is worth money. So the district that my son should be in doesn't typically allow freely their students to go to other districts. So that she told me that in her response to my email yesterday. Then she told me, but he could go to this school. So the district that I'm still in until the end of this week, the district that I'm still in has a school that most districts do this. They'll have a school for I hate to use this word when talking about children, but it is what it is. For the hard to control children, the bad kids. And usually in those schools, the majority of those kids are children of color and they are male statistically. So she responded to me earlier in the morning and was like, yeah, well, your district that he should be in doesn't really release their kids, but he could go to this school for his senior year because we don't require residency for this particular school. So my antennas went up. You don't require residency for that school, but that's the school where y'all push the behaviorally challenged children, which are typically the black boys. I was like, well, that's not an option, girl. That ain't an option. So the superintendent finally responded to me. He looped her into the email. Then I had to reach out to people that I know because, your girl be knowing people. And I was like, hey, what do I need to do for y'all to release my son and for him to stay where he's at? He been here since the fifth grade. He don't know nothing else. Putting him into a new school in a new district is not serving the need of a child. Why would you do that to any child? let alone my son. But, like, I'm not even trying to make my son special, but, like, if you're about children, mind you, the superintendent can override any decision. So that's what I was dealing with all day yesterday up until I got on my bike to ride my bike. And now that I've read the mindfulness walking and I'm thinking about what was happening, the universe knocked me off my bike yesterday to show me that my son is going to be okay. My son is I haven't gotten a response yet today because, it's too early in the morning. He's going to be fine. Yes, there have been some emails and some bumps. And yeah, she told you some foolishness because, whatever. He's going to be fine. Just like I finished that bike ride yesterday, I am going into today mindfully, understanding fully the things that don't kill you will only make you stronger. Just because Frontier charged me all that money for that flight, I got there and I was fine. It just stopped me from putting money in a machine gambling. That's all. and and my son will finish his senior year exactly where he's at. And I will mindfully do better when faced with other situations like Frontier Airlines. I have been able to practice it in other areas of my life, and I am going to mindfully learn as I enter my new district and my new position to be mindful of the children, of the grown-ups, especially the grown-ups. I am for children first, and the business of the system of education in a lot of districts are for the business of the grown-ups. And that has made it very difficult for me to move around in my current district, which is why I'm leaving. So my mindfulness practice has shown me that it is going to be just fine. And I hope today's live and my little stories in the book have helped you and will help you see that whatever the obstacle, however you fall, however somebody tells you the worst of the worst or tells you what you can or can't do, that you will find and center yourself and be mindful. Don't engage. Don't argue. Don't go back and forth with people and situations. Let things be, right? I love you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And I will see you tomorrow with a different book in a different space. But it is still about mindfulness and our growth on this human journey that we are all on together at this same time. Thank you. I love you.